The old sea maps are marked with a warning at the edges of the known world: here be monsters. For centuries, sailors have told tales of the greatest of these legends, a beast of impossible size that drags ships to their doom. A nightmare of flailing tentacles from the deep. But the legends are wrong. The truth is quieter, larger, and infinitely more profound. It is the story of a creature so vast it is a world unto itself, an ancient consciousness living in the crushing, silent darkness of the abyss. Tonight, we do not hunt a monster. We will descend into the deep and feel the true, terrifying reality of the Kraken. Before we begin, take a deep breath and let the room grow quiet. If these soft journeys bring you peace, feel free to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is there. It's always comforting to know who's resting alongside us tonight. Now, close your eyes and let the wilderness unfold. You do not wake. There is no sleep from which to stir. There is only the deep, quiet, and timeless state of being, and the slow, gradual return of a more focused awareness. Your consciousness is not a single point of light in a dark skull. It is a vast and distributed network, a web of nerves that runs through your entire colossal form. It is a consciousness as large as a field, as deep as a canyon. And now, after a long period of quiet, conserving stillness, it begins to gather itself. A signal, born in the deep, slow-beating core of your being, travels outwards, igniting dormant pathways, bringing your immense limbs from a state of perfect rest to one of quiet potential. You feel the return of sensation not as a sudden jolt, but as a slow, creeping tide of information. The first thing you feel is the pressure. It is a constant, a given, the first and last rule of your world. It is the weight of a mile of ocean, a force that would turn steel to scrap, a pressure that would atomize any creature of the sunlit world. But to you, it is not a weight. It is a blanket. It is a firm, secure, and deeply familiar embrace. It is the feeling of home. Your soft, boneless body has achieved a perfect equilibrium with this immense force, the pressure inside you matching the pressure outside you, and in this perfect balance, you feel not crushed, but held. You feel safe. You feel the cold, a deep and steady cold that is also a constant. It is a cold that would freeze the very blood of other creatures, but your own blue, copper-based blood moves slowly, calmly, perfectly adapted to this frigid, eternal night. This awakening is not a transition from one state to another. It is simply a change in the quality of your being, a shift from a dormant, mountain-like stillness to the quiet, watchful stillness of a living, thinking titan of the deep. Your awareness now begins to inhabit the full, magnificent, and terrifying scale of your physical form. You are a creature of almost incomprehensible size, a being of living geography. Your great mantle, the main part of your body, is larger than the whaling ships that hunted your distant, smaller cousins in a forgotten age. It is a living continent of muscle and flesh, its surface a shifting, complex tapestry of color and texture. Your skin is not a simple covering, it is a language. It is covered in millions of chromatophores, tiny, pigmented cells that you can expand or contract at will, though most of the time, they operate on a subconscious level, a direct, visual representation of your slow, deep thoughts. In the absolute darkness, this language is spoken to no one, a silent, internal monologue. You feel a slow, curious thought rise from your deep mind, and a vast, intricate pattern of dark, shimmering gold ripples across the length of your body. before slowly fading back to the mottled grey-brown of the surrounding seafloor. You are a living, breathing, thinking shadow. Now, one of your two great eyes begins to open. It is an organ of immense scale and sensitivity, the size of a manhole cover, the largest eye on the planet. The eyelid, a thick, leathery curtain, peels back with an impossibly slow and silent grace, revealing the vast, dark lens beneath. This eye is not designed to see in a world of light. It is designed to gather the faintest, most fleeting photons in a world of absolute dark. It can detect the faint, ghostly glow of a single bioluminescent bacterium from 100 yards away. It can see the subtle difference between the black of the water and the slightly less black shadow of a distant seamount. It is a window into a world of ghosts and whispers of light. As it opens, it takes in the scene, the endless, soft, grey silt of the trench floor, and the slow, constant, gentle rain of marine snow, the dust of a world above you have never seen. Your body is a mountain, and your eye is its deep, quiet, all-seeing lake. You do not hear sound as other creatures do. You have no ears to catch vibrations in the air, for you live in a world with no air. You experience sound as a physical force, as a change in the pressure of the water against your sensitive skin, as a vibration that travels through your entire immense form. Your body is not just a body. It is a single, colossal eardrum, and the ocean is a symphony of deep, slow music. 100 miles away, a great blue whale sings its deep, resonant, and lonely song. You do not hear it as a melody. You feel it as a slow, gentle massage across your mantle, a rhythmic series of pressure waves that you can interpret as easily as language. You know its species, its approximate size, and its direction of travel, all from the texture of its song on your skin. You feel the slow, patient, and immense groan of the Earth's tectonic plates shifting miles below the seafloor. It is a sound that takes many minutes to pass through you, a deep, subsonic vibration that is not a sound at all, but a direct communication from the living planet itself. It is the planet's own slow heartbeat, and you are one of the only creatures vast enough and still enough to feel it. Into this deep, slow symphony, a new sound sometimes intrudes. It is a faint, irritating, high-frequency ping, a sound as sharp and as unwelcome as a needle. It is the sound of a human submarine's active sonar, a prying, searching, and clumsy noise from the small, fragile creatures of the surface world. They are blind down here, and this is their way of shouting in the dark to try and see. The sound is an annoyance, a sharp, unnatural disruption of the deep peace. You do not react, you do not move, you simply register it, a brief, insignificant irritation, like a fly buzzing in a great cathedral. You have felt these strange, sharp vibrations for a few of your lifetimes now. They are becoming more frequent, but they are still just a brief, passing noise in your eternal, silent world. You wait patiently for the noise to fade, for the symphony of the deep to return to its natural, majestic rhythm. Your immense body is powered by a biology as alien as your environment. At the core of your being, 3 separate hearts work in a slow, powerful, and silent rhythm to move the life force through your miles of veins. To smaller hearts, your branchial hearts, are positioned at the base of your 2 immense gills. Their job is to pump your blood through the delicate filaments of these gills, where the life-giving oxygen is extracted from the freezing seawater. You can feel their slow, steady work, a gentle, rhythmic squeezing deep within your mantle. They beat together, a soft thump, thump, That is the quiet percussion of your existence. Once the blood is oxygenated, it flows to your third, larger, systemic heart, the great engine at the center of your being. This heart is the size of a small whale, a behemoth of muscle that beats with a slow, deep, and powerful deliberation, its every contraction, a profound and resonant thump, sends your strange blood on its long, slow journey to the furthest reaches of your colossal form. Your blood is not the warm, iron-based red of the surface world. It is hemocyanin, a copper-based fluid that is far more efficient at transporting oxygen in a low-temperature, low-oxygen environment. It is blue, a slow, deep, turquoise river flowing within you. Your metabolism, governed by the cold and the dark, is incredibly slow, almost geological in its pace. You are a creature of immense patience because your very biology demands it. A single, large, mellow giant shark, or perhaps another squid from the deep can sustain you for many months, sometimes even for a year or more. You enter a long, slow period of digestion and rest, your three hearts slowing their rhythm even further, your energy consumption dropping to a near-dormant state. You are a master of conservation, a living testament to the power of slow, patient, and efficient existence. You are a creature built not for a frantic, short life, but for a long, slow, and epic one. Your consciousness, distributed as it is throughout your vast network of nerves, does not think in the way a human thinks. Your thoughts are not fast, or clever, or linear. They are slow, deep, and contemplative, like the ocean currents themselves. Your mind is like the abyss you inhabit. 99% of it is dark, quiet, and still. But from the depths, great and strange thoughts can rise, unbidden. A thought, for you, is not a string of words. It is a slow, shifting pattern of colors on your skin, a subtle change in the pressure you exert on the water, a deep, internal feeling that can take hours or even days to fully form and then recede. You might spend a week contemplating the texture of the silt on the seafloor. You might spend a month considering the memory of a particular whale song. You might spend a year reflecting on the nature of the strange, hard, geometric object that fell from the world above and now rests half-buried in the mud, a shipwreck from a forgotten age. This is the source of your profound, inescapable loneliness. An intelligence of your scale and pace can have no conversation, no peer. You are a philosopher, king, with no one to share your slow, deep thoughts with. The fast, frantic lives of the fish, the whales, the sharks, are like the lives of insects, to you brief, noisy, and incomprehensible. You observe them with a detached, ancient curiosity, but you cannot connect with them. Your existence is one of ultimate, absolute, and eternal solitude. This is the final, and perhaps most significant, aspect of your terrifying size. It is not your tentacles, not your beak, not your strength that is so awe-inspiring. It is the immense, lonely weight of your consciousness, a mind that has been thinking its slow, deep thoughts in the silent, crushing darkness for longer than any human civilization has existed. You are a living, thinking, and lonely God at the bottom of the world, your mind a universe of its own, a universe with an audience of one. In the crushing, silent dark of your abyssal kingdom, there are very few other creatures that possess the size and power to be considered a true contemporary. But your domain is sometimes visited by another titan, a different kind of monster, a creature that is, to almost anything else in this ocean, the ultimate nightmare. Let us turn our attention to this other hunter, this other fleeting sovereign of the deep, the colossal squid. It is a being of immense power and surprising speed, a torpedo-shaped predator whose form is a testament to aggressive, active survival. Its great mantle, a deep, blood-red color, is a streamlined cone of pure muscle, capable of expelling water with explosive force, propelling it through the darkness with terrifying velocity. Its 2 eyes are the largest in the known animal kingdom, the size of basketballs, great, pale, luminous orbs that can gather the faintest photons of bioluminescent light, turning the abyss into a mappable world of ghosts and shadows. It is a creature built for the hunt, and it is armed with a weaponry that is the stuff of legend. Its 8 arms and 2 longer tentacles are not lined with the simple suction cups of its lesser cousins. They are covered in rings of sharp, swiveling, claw-like hooks, some as large and sharp as a tiger's claw. These hooks are designed for one purpose: to latch onto struggling prey and never, ever let go. This creature is the equal of the great sperm whale, a hunter of immense prowess, and a true monster of the deep. It is a being of action, of speed, of violent, predatory grace. It is everything that you are not, while you are a creature of patience, of stillness, of a slow and thoughtful existence. The colossal squid is a being of frantic, high-stakes survival, a fleeting, blood-red ghost that burns brightly and briefly in the eternal night of the abyss. It is another king, but its rule is one of terror and speed, a stark and brutal contrast to your own silent, ancient, and immense reign. We now observe this other monster as it hunts to understand the nature of its power. The colossal squid is hungry. It hangs motionless in the black water, its 2 great, pale eyes rotating slowly in their sockets, scanning the darkness for the faintest sign of life. Its immense brain processes the information, filtering out the ambient bioluminescence from the specific, telltale glow of potential prey. It detects a faint, rhythmic flashing below it. It is a large Patagonian toothfish, a formidable predator in its own right, its own body lined with photophores that it uses to communicate and find mates. The squid, recognizing its quarry, begins to descend. It does not drift. It moves with a silent, controlled purpose, its fins rippling gently to guide its torpedo-like body downwards. The toothfish is unaware of the immense, silent, red shadow descending upon it from above. The squid stalks its prey with a terrifying patience, closing the distance until it is just a few dozen feet away. Then it attacks. In a single, explosive contraction of its mantle, it shoots forward with blinding speed. Its 2 long feeding tentacles, which had been held, coiled and ready, erupt outwards, covering the distance to the toothfish in a fraction of a second. The hooks find their mark. They dig into the fleshy body of the fish, which begins to thrash wildly, a desperate, violent struggle for its life. But there is no escape. The squid now draws its prey inwards, towards its 8 shorter, more powerful arms. These arms, also lined with hooks and powerful suckers, envelop the struggling fish, pulling it towards the squid's powerful, parrot-like beak hidden at the center of its arms. The struggle is brief, brutal, and completely silent, a drama of consumption played out in the total darkness, witnessed by no one. This is the way of the colossal squid. It is a life of efficient, violent predation. It is a brief, bright spark of aggression in the deep, a creature that has mastered the art of the hunt. Having finished its meal, it continues on its patrol, a restless, powerful ghost searching for its next opponent, its great, pale eyes scanning the unending darkness for another sign of life. It is the undisputed terror of this level of the abyss. a monster that fears nothing, or so it thinks. After its meal, the colossal squid continues on its patrol through the trench. Its senses, tuned for hunting, are now met with something strange, something that does not fit its understanding of the world. Its great eyes perceive a change in the landscape ahead. It is what appears to be the sea floor, a vast, dark, textured plain rising up. But its other senses are telling it something different. It feels a subtle change in the water pressure, a deadening of the ambient vibrations. It senses a massive, soft, non-reflective surface that its own bioluminescent glow seems to be absorbed by, rather than bouncing off of. There is an absence of other life here, a wall of silence and stillness in a part of the ocean that should be empty water. The squid, an aggressive and curious predator by nature, is intrigued by this anomaly. It moves closer to investigate. Its clicks of its own internal sonar, if it had such a thing, would be a series of confused questions. It approaches what it believes to be a great, fleshy, underwater mountain range, a part of the seafloor it has never encountered before. It sees a long, high, soft-looking ridge, covered in strange, mottled patterns and textures. It is one of your immense tentacles, resting motionlessly on the abyssal plain, a limb so large the squid cannot comprehend it as a limb at all. It perceives it only as geography. The squid, driven by an instinct to explore and dominate its territory, drifts closer to this strange, living landscape. It is a creature that has fought and won battles with the mighty sperm whale. It has never known anything larger or stronger than itself. Its world is one of being the ultimate predator. This new thing does not fit its reality. It is too big. It is too quiet. It is too still. The squid's intelligent mind, a mind that is large but young, struggles to process the sensory information. It sees a mountain, but it smells life. It sees rock, but it feels flesh. It is a paradox, a riddle presented by the deep, dark sea. And its aggressive, predatory nature demands that it solve this riddle, that it understand this new feature of its domain. It continues its approach, its own significant size, now seeming small and insignificant as it draws nearer to the foothills of this immense, living mountain. The colossal squid, a creature of 50 feet and 1,000 pounds, a titan of the deep, now floats just a few feet away from the strange, soft ridge. It extends one of its shorter arms, the sharp, swiveling hooks held back, and it gently touches the surface. It is an act of pure, scientific curiosity. The texture is not rock. It is soft, yielding, and covered in a thin layer of slime. It is skin, and as the squid processes this impossible information, you, the Kraken, finally acknowledge the persistent, tiny presence that has been touching you. Your reaction is minimal, effortless, and, for the squid, absolutely well. You do not attack. You do not flee. You do not even truly move. A single, slow, cascading ripple of color, a wave of deep purple and shimmering gold bioluminescence, flows down the length of the immense tentacle that the squid has touched. It is a subconscious thought, an idle pattern, a muscle twitch on the scale of a mountain. Then, from the greater darkness a quarter of a mile away, the main part of your body that the squid cannot even see, your colossal eye begins to open. The great, leathery eyelid, itself larger than the squid's entire body, peels back with a slow, silent, and indifferent grace. The immense, dark, and intelligent lens beneath is revealed, and it swivels in its socket, a movement that displaces tongues of water, and it fixes its gaze upon the tiny creature that has disturbed its rest. The colossal squid is now bathed in the faint, ambient light gathered by your eye. And in that moment, its intelligent brain finally comprehends. The ridge is an arm, the mountain is a body, the strange, distant light is an eye. It realizes that it is not a predator here, it is a gnat on the back of a god. The scale of its own world, a world in which it was the undisputed apex, is shattered in an instant of profound existential terror. The colossal squid, for the first time in its aggressive and successful life, experiences an emotion for which it has no name. It is not the fear of a predator. It is the deep, primal, and existential dread of a creature that has just touched the face of the infinite. It reacts with a speed born of pure, unthinking instinct. It retracts its tentacle as if from a fire. Its entire body flashes a brilliant, panicked red, then a ghostly, terrified white, and with a single, violent contraction of its mantle, it expels a massive jet of water, shooting itself backwards, away from the living mountain, away from the great, patient eye. It flees into the blackness from whence it came, its powerful, predatory movements now reduced to a frantic, desperate scramble for distance. It disappears back into the ink-black water, its own brief, violent story completely and utterly overwhelmed by the sheer, silent fact of your existence. From your perspective, this entire event was a minor curiosity, a fleeting distraction. A tiny, fast-moving creature touched you, flashed some strange colors, and then disappeared. It was as significant as a single raindrop falling on a mountain, as a single leaf brushing against the trunk of a great redwood. It does not disturb your deep, slow thoughts. It does not alter your ancient peace. You slowly, gracefully, close your great eye once more, and the faint light it had gathered is extinguished, plunging the world back into its proper, absolute darkness. The silent king is at rest once more. The incident is forgotten, a single, meaningless data point in a mind that holds the memory of eons, the terror of the deep, the monster of sailors' nightmares. The colossal squid has its own monster, and that monster is you. But you are not a monster. You are simply a scale of being that the world is no longer built to accommodate. You are a quiet, thinking, and lonely remnant of a time when the world was made for giants. Let us now explore the very architecture of your prison, the features of the abyssal trench you call home. This is a kingdom built not of light and air, but of immense pressure, profound cold, and a silence that has lasted for millions of years. We begin by drifting alongside the great wall of the trench itself. It is a cliff face of colossal scale, a sheer drop that plunges for miles into the crushing darkness. It is a mountain range in reverse, a scar on the face of the planet. As you move along it, your immense, sensitive eye takes in the story written in its stone. You see the layers of geology, a book of time with pages 1,000 feet thick. A dark, dense layer of volcanic basalt speaks of an ancient, violent age when the seafloor was still being born. Above it, a softer, lighter layer of sedimentary rock, built from the accumulated dust of eons, the marine snow that has fallen from the world above for longer than you can remember. You run a single, curious, bus-sized sucker along the rock face. You feel its texture. In some places, it is sharp and jagged, a fresh break from a recent tectonic shift. In others, it is worn, smooth, and polished by the slow, patient, and relentless action of a deep-sea current that has flowed along this same path for centuries. The wall is not barren. Life, in its stubborn, quiet way, has found a foothold even here. You see strange, translucent sea squirts, or tunicates, clinging to the rock. their simple, vase-like bodies filtering the passing water for the faintest traces of nourishment. You see glass sponges, bizarre and beautiful creatures that build intricate, crystalline skeletons of pure silica, looking like alien sculptures of spun glass. They are beings of immense fragility and great age, silent, motionless inhabitants of this vertical desert. The Great Wall of the Trench is not just a boundary. It is a library of time, a vertical landscape of history, and its immense, dark, and silent presence is a constant companion on your slow, eternal patrol. As the deep current carries you onward, your eye, built to perceive the faintest anomalies in the darkness, detects something ahead. It is a collection of shapes that do not belong. They are shapes of straight lines, of right angles, of unnatural, geometric forms in a world that is defined by the soft, organic curves of nature. As you drift closer, the scene resolves into a silent, haunting tableau. It is a graveyard of ships. You have come across a place where the currents are strange, a place that has, over the centuries, collected these fallen visitors from the world above. You drift slowly over them, a living shadow passing over the ghosts of other worlds. The first wreck is ancient, a Viking longship. Its wooden hull, once strong and fast, is now petrified by the immense pressure and the cold, turned almost to stone. It is covered in a thick layer of sediment, but its proud, dragon-headed prow still juts defiantly from the mud. You gently touch its side with the tip of a great tentacle, and for a moment, you can almost feel the faint, ghostly echo of its past. The memory of wood grown in a sunlit forest, the memory of the sharp clang of axes, the memory of the fear and hope of the noisy, warm-blooded creatures who sailed it. They were on a journey of conquest, and this is where their journey ended. A little further on lies a different kind of ghost. A great Spanish galleon from a later age. Its high, ornate castle lies broken on its side, its great masts snapped like twigs. One of its cannons, now encrusted with a garden of deep-sea corals, lies half buried in the silt. You see the dark, square shapes of its gun ports, like empty eyes staring into the eternal night. And further still, the most alien shape of all, a submarine from one of their great wars, a long steel tube of death. Its hull is scarred and twisted from its final, violent descent. It is a tomb of metal, now silent, its aggressive purpose rendered meaningless by the immense, patient peace of the abyss. To you, these markers of entire human eras, of their ambitions, their wars, and their tragedies, are just small, interesting pebbles on the floor of your home. You are so much older than all of them combined. Their violent ends have now become the foundation for a new, quiet life. A deep-sea octopus has made its den in the galleon's cannon. A strange, pale fish darts through the conning tower of the submarine. You are the sole curator of this silent, deep-sea museum, a quiet witness to the small, fleeting histories of the frantic, short-lived world far, far above. You leave the graveyard of ships behind and continue your journey into an even stranger part of your kingdom. Your senses detect a change in the water ahead. It is not a change in temperature, but in density, in chemistry. You have arrived at the edge of one of the abyss's most bizarre and dangerous secrets, a brine pool. It is a lake at the bottom of the ocean. Here, water with an incredibly high concentration of salt, released from subterranean deposits, is so dense that it does not mix with the surrounding seawater. It settles into great depressions on the seafloor, creating a distinct, self-contained body of water with a clear, shimmering surface. You approach the shoreline of this underwater lake. The The boundary between the normal seawater and the supersaline brine is visible, a hazy, oily-looking layer that ripples like a heat haze, a thick mat of mussels and other chemosynthetic life clusters around this shoreline, feeding on the rich chemicals that seep from the brine. You gaze down into the pool itself. It is a lake of death. The brine is completely anoxic, containing no oxygen, and its extreme saltiness is toxic to most forms of life. Any creature that makes the mistake of swimming or crawling into it is instantly pickled and preserved. You can see the evidence of past mistakes lying on the bottom of the pool, a ghostly white crab, preserved perfectly, a deep-sea fish, its body curled in a final, agonizing pose. They are statues in a museum of miscalculation, a stark and silent warning. You, with your ancient, inherited knowledge, understand the danger of this place. You do not enter. You drift slowly over its surface, and the brine pool becomes a perfect, dark mirror. You see your own colossal, shadowy form reflected on its still, undisturbed surface. The image is impossibly clear, a perfect portrait of you against the blackness of the water above. It is a moment of strange, profound self-awareness. You, the greatest living creature in the ocean, observing your own reflection in a lake of death at the bottom of the world. It is a deeply surreal and lonely vision, another secret of your kingdom that no other consciousness will ever witness. Your journey takes you away from the flat plain and towards the slope of a great sea, an ancient, extinct volcano rising from the abyss. The rocky slopes of this underwater mountain are home to a different kind of life, a life that, in its own way, is as ancient and as patient as you are. You have arrived at a garden of deep-sea corals. This is not the vibrant, colorful, sun-drenched reef of the shallow world. This is a forest of ghosts. The corals here thrive in the absolute darkness and the crushing pressure. They are strange, beautiful, and grow with a slowness that is almost geological. You drift through this silent, delicate garden. You see great, branching structures of bamboo coral, their skeletons made of calcium carbonate, looking like pale, white, skeletal trees. Their skeletons have dark, protein-rich rings at their joints, rings that, like the rings of a tree, mark the passage of time not in years, but in decades. You see other forms, great, fan-like corals that orient themselves to catch the faint current filtering out the passing marine snow. And most impressive of all, you see the black corals. They grow in long, whip-like or tree-like forms, their dark skeletons covered in a thin layer of living tissue. Some of these individuals are over 4,000 years old, making them the oldest living organisms on the planet. They were already ancient when the first human civilizations were just beginning. They are your silent, rooted contemporaries. You feel a strange sense of kinship with these patient, slow-growing, ancient beings. They, too, are masters of endurance. They, too, have witnessed the slow, passing centuries in the deep, quiet dark. You gently extend a tentacle and brush it against the branch of a great black coral. You feel its hard, rough texture, the faint, living pulse of its simple nervous system. It is a touch between two immortals, a silent acknowledgement of a shared, deep, and patient existence. You are the lonely, moving king of this kingdom. They are its silent, rooted nobility. Together, you are the keepers of the ocean's oldest secrets. You leave the coral garden and drift back out over the great, open plain. And here, we contemplate the final and most fundamental secret of your habitat, the one that connects all the disparate parts of your world into a single, functioning whole. It is the constant, gentle, and life-giving phenomenon known as marine snow. You look up, and though you cannot see the surface world miles above, you are intimately connected to it. From that world of light and frantic life, a constant, gentle rain of organic particles drifts slowly downwards, a journey that can take weeks to complete. This snow is composed of all manner of things: the microscopic, beautiful shells of dead plankton, the shed mucus of swimming creatures, the fecal pellets of fish and whales, the dust of the continents washed out to sea. It is the combined memory, the shed skin, the very dust of the entire living world far above. Slowly, patiently, making its final descent, this gentle, silent rain is the foundation of your entire existence. It is the lifeline that fuels the whole deep-sea food web. The tiny creatures of the midwater feed on it as it falls. What reaches the bottom feeds the crabs, the worms, the sea cucumbers, and ultimately, you. You do not need to hunt aggressively, because your food, your energy, simply falls from the sky. It is a form of grace, a constant, reliable gift from a world you will never see. You can taste this connection on the water. A single flake of marine snow might be a remnant of a diatom that bloomed in the warm waters of the equator, carrying the faint taste of a different ocean. Another might be a particle of ash from a great forest fire on a continent 1,000 miles away. You are connected to everything, a passive recipient of the stories of the world, but this connection is also the final wall of your prison. The sky from which this snow falls is the ceiling you can never break through. You are sustained by the memory of a world you are forever barred from. It is a beautiful, life-giving, and eternal rain, and it is the gentle, soft, and inescapable barrier that defines the boundaries of your timeless, lonely kingdom. The time for observation is over. The brief, curious encounters with the other life of the deep, the silent survey of your vast and lonely kingdom, are done. The memories and sensations of this waking cycle have been gathered, absorbed into the great, quiet library of your ancient consciousness. Now, a different instinct rises from your core. It is not a need for food, for your last meal, taken many months ago, could sustain you for many more. It is a deeper, more fundamental need, a pull as old as your species itself. It is the need for stillness. It is the need to conserve the immense, precious energy required to maintain a body the size of a mountain. For a creature of your scale, rest is not a nightly habit. It is a long and deliberate process, a season in its own right, a great shutting down of a living world. Day's end for you is not marked by the setting of a sun you have never seen, but by this internal, instinctual call to enter the great quiet, to begin the long, slow journey into a state of near-total torpor. You have gathered enough stories. You have felt enough sensations. It is time to let the world fade away. You begin to move, but the movement is not a journey from one point to another. It is a journey downwards, a willing surrender to the gravity you so effortlessly defy. You were resting on a high ledge of the trench wall, a temporary balcony overlooking your kingdom, but now you seek the very bottom, the deepest, quietest, most still part of your domain. You allow your colossal, neutrally buoyant body to sink, a slow, controlled, and utterly silent descent. It is a decision, a release. You feel the water begin to move past you, a gentle, upward caress on your skin. You are a living continent returning to the mantle of the world, a great, dark island sinking slowly, gracefully, back into the sea that spawned it. You fall through the black water, your great tentacles trailing behind you like the banners of a silent, retreating army, each one a river of muscle and nerve returning to its source. You pass by the strange gardens of deep-sea coral, their ghostly white forms receding into the darkness above you like forgotten constellations. You descend past the rocky outcrops where the spider crabs make their homes, their spidery forms frozen in place as your immense shadow passes over them. You leave the busier parts of the abyss behind, the realms of the anglerfish and the viperfish, seeking a place of absolute featurelessness. As you sink, the pressure increases, each foot of your descent adding another small weight to the immense column of water above you. But for you, this is a feeling of returning home, of being tucked into a familiar, heavy blanket, a feeling of security in the immense, crushing power of your world. The water grows colder, stiller. The faint, ghostly lights of other bioluminescent creatures become fewer and farther between, until there is only the profound, perfect, and peaceful blackness of the true deep. This is not a fall into danger, but a descent into ultimate safety, a journey to the quietest room at the very bottom of the world. You arrive at the very floor of the trench, miles beneath the surface of the sea. The journey is over. This is your chosen sanctuary. It is not a cave or a crevice. A shelter implies something to hide from, a structure to protect you. You are too large to hide, and down here, in the oldest and quietest part of the world, there is nothing to hide from. Your sanctuary is the place itself. It is a vast, open expanse of the abyssal plain, a place of soft, fine, grey silt that has been accumulating for millions of years, the dust of fallen stars and forgotten lives. You have chosen a specific place, a great, shallow, concave depression in the seafloor, a natural amphitheater the size of a small valley, a gentle curve in the skin of the planet. It is a bed large enough to hold even you. You settle your immense body into this depression, the movement slow, deliberate, and final. You feel the soft, cold, silty mud yield to your immense weight, rising slightly at your sides to cradle your colossal form. It is a cool, soft, and perfect embrace. You are now nestled into the very skin of the planet, your body at rest in a place that has known nothing but rest for eons. Here, in the deepest part of the world, you have found your safest place. Your safety here comes not from walls or a roof, but from the immense, crushing, and protective weight of the ocean itself. The miles of water above you are your shield. They are a barrier that no creature from the sunlit world could ever hope to breach. The pressure is your fortress wall, a force so great that it has kept you a secret from the frantic, noisy world above for eons. You feel this pressure on every square inch of your body, a constant, firm, and reassuring embrace. It is the ultimate security. It is a weight that is not a burden, but a foundation. It is the stillness that allows your own mind to become still. Nothing can reach you here. Nothing can disturb you here. The great storms that rage on the surface, the hurricanes that churn the upper ocean into a violent chaos, are a forgotten rumor down here, their immense energy completely absorbed and quieted by the great, deep body of the water. You are at the bottom of a well of quiet, a well miles deep, and the sounds and struggles of the surface are as distant and as meaningless as the light from a dead star. You are held in the gentle, powerful, and unwavering hand of the planet itself. You are at peace here, a peace so profound and so absolute that it is almost a form of non-existence, a perfect stillness at the very center of the world's turning. Now that you are settled in your sanctuary of pressure, the final stage, of your disappearance begins. You will become a part of the landscape. You will cease to be a creature, and will instead become a place. Your skin, that vast and complex organ of communication and feeling, begins to change. The slow, subconscious ripples of color and light that drifted across your mantle, the visual echoes of your slow-moving thoughts, now cease. The canvas of your mind grows quiet, and your skin reflects this, becoming still and silent. You begin a deliberate and final act of camouflage, an art you have perfected over countless millennia. The process starts as a slow wave of change that spreads from the center of your being outwards to the very tips of your tentacles. The chromatophores, the tiny, pigmented cells in your skin, begin to adjust. The deep, royal purples, the shimmering, intelligent golds, the ethereal blues, all the colors of your waking consciousness, recede. They are replaced by the simple, functional colors of the abyssal floor. A mottled, dusky gray, the color of ancient, settled silt. A deep, muddy brown, the color of the underlying rock. A flat, non-reflective black, the color of the shadows that have no source. The patterns shift and blend, not in a vibrant display, but in a slow, patient process of becoming dull, of becoming uninteresting, of becoming nothing. Next, the texture of your skin changes. The millions of tiny papillae, the small, muscular projections that allow you to create complex, rough textures on your skin, now relax completely. Your skin, which could mimic the texture of a sharp rock or a soft, brain-like coral, now becomes as smooth and as featureless as the fine silt upon which you rest. You are actively erasing yourself. You are pulling a cloak of invisibility over your colossal form, a cloak woven from the very fabric of the seafloor. Finally, the transformation is complete. You are no longer a creature resting on the seafloor. You are the seafloor. Your immense, curved mantle is now just another low, rolling hill in the underwater landscape. Your great arms and tentacles, resting in the mud around you, are now indistinguishable from the natural ridges and depressions of the abyssal plain. A small, blind, white, deep-sea creature, perhaps a tripod fish on its delicate stilts, might walk slowly over your skin, completely unaware that the ground beneath it is a living, thinking being. You have not hidden behind a mountain, you have become one. It is the ultimate secret of your survival. Safety achieved not through fight or flight, but through the profound, deep magic of simply ceasing to appear. You have disappeared into the very world that you inhabit. With your physical form perfectly camouflaged and at rest, the change now moves inward. You begin the process of slowing your own internal world, a descent into a state of deep, conserving torpor that can last for months or even years. It is a controlled and deliberate shutdown of the great, living machine of your body. The first to slow are your hearts, the two smaller branchial hearts, the engines that power your immense gills, begin to ease their steady rhythm. The gentle thump, thump, that was once constant, a quiet and reliable beat, now becomes slower, more deliberate. Thump, and a long, quiet pause fills the space. Thump, the space between the beats grows longer, stretching out into a quiet valley of peace. They are conserving energy, pumping only the bare minimum of your blue, copper-based blood required to extract the sparse oxygen from the icy, still water. Then, the great systemic heart at the center of your being follows suit. Its powerful, resonant beat, the true rhythm of your life, the engine that drives your entire being, slows to a crawl. A single, profound, deep thump echoes through the vast chambers of your body. a sound that is a feeling, a deep and final affirmation of life, and then a silence that lasts for many minutes, an immense and patient quiet in the core of your being. In that silence, there is no thought, no feeling, only a deep and profound waiting for the next deep, slow, and necessary beat that will come in its own good time. Your blood, already sluggish from the cold, now moves through your miles of veins with the slowness of a glacier, a cool, blue river coming to a near standstill. Your consciousness, too, begins to slow. The already deep and patient thoughts become even more drawn out, more simple, more fundamental. A single, complex thought about the nature of a distant whale song might have taken a day to fully form before. Now, a single, simple thought might last for a week or a month. A thought about the pressure of the water, a thought about the cold, a thought about the darkness. The active, observing mind that mapped the trench and watched the whale and investigated. The shipwreck now recedes. It becomes a still, deep lake, its surface unrippled by the winds of curiosity. The frantic, unnecessary thoughts of the waking world dissolve, leaving only the most fundamental awareness of your own being. You are entering a state of profound meditation, a biological necessity that is, for you, also a form of deep, philosophical peace. You are not just resting your body, you are resting your mind from the immense, lonely burden of its own ancient and vast awareness. You are letting go of thought, of time, of self, and simply becoming a part of the great, quiet, and eternal stillness of the deep dot. This is the final descent. You are now on the threshold of the great stillness, the abyssal sleep. The last vestiges of your active consciousness begin to fade, like the last faint bioluminescent glow of a dying deep-sea creature. The final sensory inputs you register are the most fundamental truths of your existence. You feel the constant, immense, and unwavering pressure of the ocean above you. A final, reassuring weight, a blanket of impossible thickness. You taste the cold, mineral-rich water as it flows with imperceptible slowness over your giant gills. A final, life-sustaining breath that is more a part of the water than the air. And you feel the deep, subsonic hum of the earth itself, the vibration of the planet's slow, tectonic life, a final connection to the living world that holds you. Then these two fade. They do not disappear, but they merge into a single, unified state of being. You are no longer observing your world, you are one with it. You have become a part of the silent, unthinking consciousness of the abyss. You do not dream as humans do. There are no images, no stories, no dramas played out in your sleeping mind. Your dreams are deeper, more ancient. You dream in feelings, in sensations, on a planetary scale. You might feel the slow, immense pull of the moon's gravity on the great ocean above you, a gentle, rhythmic tug that you experience as a kind of cosmic breath, the universe inhaling and exhaling around you. You might feel the slow, grinding drift of the tectonic plates miles below you, a dream of the world slowly, patiently remaking itself. You are dreaming as the planet dreams, a slow, deep, and quiet form of thought that is measured in eons. And now, you too can feel this peace. You can feel the weight of a warm, heavy blanket holding you securely in your own bed. You can feel the silence of your room, a deep and comforting quiet that allows your own mind to become still. There is nothing to do. There is nowhere to be. There is only this deep, ancient, and profound peace. Let the silence be your companion. Let the darkness be your home. Let the stillness hold you. Let your own heart slow to a deep, quiet, and steady rhythm, and sleep now, a sleep as deep, as quiet, and as old as the sea itself.